As we move into the final stages of April 2026, the investigation into Ashlee Robinson's death has reached a critical and frustrating turning point. What began as a tragic story in a beautiful paradise has now turned into a complicated legal battle that has the whole world watching. As of today, April 19th, 2026, the case seems to be standing still. But behind the scenes, new and troubling details are starting to surface. Currently, Ashlee's fiancé, Joseph Isaac McCann, is in a state of what experts call legal limbo. This means he is not officially charged with a crime, but he is also not free to leave. The police in Zanzibar have taken a very serious step by officially seizing his passport. He is essentially stuck on the island. The Deputy Director of Investigations, Zuberi Chembera, has confirmed that they are holding McCann as a key witness. They are waiting for the final medical and forensic reports before they decide what to do next. For Ashlee's family, this wait feels like an eternity. But for the investigators, it is a necessary pause to make sure they don't miss any clues. The biggest update this week comes from the people who saw the couple every day. The staff at the Zuri Zanzibar resort. When this story first broke, many people thought there was just one big argument on the night Ashlee died. But new witness statements from the hotel workers tell a much darker and more consistent story. Employees have now come forward to say that the heated disputes were not a one-time event. They claim that Ashlee and Joe were fighting almost from the moment they arrived on April 4th, 2026. According to these workers, the couple was heard arguing frequently over the 4 days leading up to the tragedy. This is a huge contrast to the perfect engagement everyone saw on social media. On Instagram, Ashlee was sharing videos of a beautiful proposal and a dream birthday trip. She looked radiant and happy. But the hotel staff saw a different reality. They saw a couple that was struggling. They saw a trip that was filled with tension instead of joy. By the night of April 8th, 2026, the fighting got so bad that the hotel management had to step in. They actually moved Joe to a different villa, about a 10-minute walk away, just to keep the peace. This new information makes us look at the dream trip in a completely different way. It suggests that the pressure was building up long before that final night. We have to ask, what were they fighting about? Was it about Joe's business, which was reportedly losing millions of dollars? Or was it about something more personal? While Joe is held in Zanzibar, the Robinson family is taking big steps back home in the United States. Ashlee's father, Harry Robinson, has been in Washington, D.C. meeting with the State Department. He is pushing for the U.S. government to take a more active role in the investigation. The family does not want to rely only on the local police in Zanzibar. They want the FBI to look at the evidence. They are also demanding to see the resort's security tapes. They want to see the 11-hour gap, the time between when the incident happened and when Joe finally reached out to the family. The atmosphere in Zanzibar is tense. The local authorities are under a lot of pressure to protect their tourism industry, but the world is demanding the truth. With Joe McCann's passport gone and new witnesses speaking out about the constant fighting, the investigation is no longer just a simple look at a tragedy. It has become a hunt for the truth in a place where the sun is bright, but the shadows are deep. By April 10th, 2026, financial experts and major news outlets began digging into Joe's business. Joe was the founder of a crypto hedge fund called Asymmetric Financial. On the outside, he was a billionaire titan. But on the inside, his empire was reportedly crumbling. Reports suggest that in the year leading up to this trip, Joe's fund had suffered a catastrophic 80% loss. We are talking about over $100 million of investor money simply vanishing. When a man is responsible for that much money and it disappears, the pressure is unimaginable. Investors were reportedly angry and the walls were closing in. This brings us to a major question that has surfaced as of April 15th, 2026. Who actually paid for this luxury vacation? The Zuri Zanzibar is one of the most expensive resorts in the world, with villas costing over $1,000 per night. While everyone assumed the billionaire fiancé was footing the bill, many now believe it was Ashlee herself who sponsored the trip. Ashlee was a powerhouse. She was a successful influencer, an entrepreneur, and a digital creator with over 133,000 followers. She had her own money and her own success. If Joe's funds were frozen or depleted because of his business collapse, it is highly likely that Ashlee was the one keeping the dream alive. Imagine the dynamic in that room. You have a man whose professional life is in ruins and a woman whose career is soaring. If Ashlee was the one paying for the birthday trip and the engagement moon, it adds a whole new layer to the heated disputes the staff overheard. Was the fighting about money? Was it about the fact that the billionaire lifestyle Joe projected was actually being funded by the woman he was supposed to be providing for? This financial stress is a key piece of the puzzle. It explains why the atmosphere in Villa 25 was described as volatile by workers. As the investigation continues into late April 2026, the police are looking at whether this financial asymmetry was the spark that led to the final argument. Ashlee was a woman who valued authenticity and hard work. If she discovered the true extent of the financial disaster Joe was hiding, the confrontation would have been explosive. The shadow in this chapter isn't just about a tragic end. It's about the secrets we keep to maintain an image. Joe McCann wanted to be seen as a titan, but in the quiet of a Zanzibar villa, the truth about the missing millions may have finally come to light. And as we have seen in so many stories before, when a secret that big is exposed, the consequences are often life-changing. As the sun sets over the Indian Ocean in late April 2026, the investigation into Ashlee Robinson's death is moving away from the white sands of the resort and into the deep, personal history of the man she was supposed to marry. For many followers, Joe McCann was the successful, self-made crypto king who had finally found his queen in Ashlee. But as investigators dig through his past, they are finding a trail of previous lives and secret chapters that add a new layer of mystery to the heated disputes witnessed by the hotel staff. One of the biggest questions being asked by the public right now is, who was Joe McCann before he met Ashlee Jenae? As of April 16, 2026, a major investigation by Fortune magazine revealed that Joe's personal life was just as complex as his financial one. Records show that Joe was previously married in 2018 to a woman named Shay Jackson. Shay was a marketing professional, and much like Ashlee, she was significantly younger than Joe. The details of that marriage are now under a microscope. It wasn't just a simple separation. According to people close to his business, the end of that marriage involved a major transfer of assets. Shares from Joe's multi-million-dollar fund, Asymmetric, were reportedly moved into Shay's name as part of their legal dealings. This shows a man whose personal relationships and high-stakes business have always been tightly tangled together. When Joe loses a partner, he doesn't just lose a relationship, he loses a part of his empire. But the rumors don't stop with one marriage. In the digital world of late April 2026, receipts and unverified claims are swirling that Joe may have been married twice before. While the second marriage hasn't been officially confirmed by police, investigators are looking into his social media posts from years ago. In these posts, Joe mentions having a daughter. For many of Ashlee's friends and fans, this was a shock. Was Ashlee aware of the full extent of Joe's past? Or was she, like many of us, only seeing the version of Joe that he wanted to show the world? This hidden history is important because it speaks to a pattern. We have a man who has a history of intense, fast-moving relationships with younger, successful women. Each time, those relationships seemed to be connected to his financial status. When he was at his peak, he was with Ashlee. When he was building his brand, he was with Shay. Now, with his fund losing 80% of its value and his personal life being pulled apart by investigators, people are asking if the stress of his hidden lives finally reached a breaking point in Zanzibar. Even more troubling are the claims that Ashlee might have discovered these secrets while on the trip. Remember, the hotel staff said the fighting began almost as soon as they arrived on April 4th. If Ashlee, a woman who built her life on being authentic, found out about secret marriages, a child she didn't know about, or the true state of his crumbling finances, the dream engagement would have turned into a confrontation. As of April 19th, 2026, Joe McCann remains stuck in Zanzibar with no passport, while the world looks at his past marriages and wonders, was Ashlee Jenae just the latest chapter in a long, complicated story? And did she pay the ultimate price for discovering the truth that Joe McCann was trying so hard to hide? The shadow isn't just in the room where she died. It's in the years of secrets that Joe brought with him to the island. In any investigation, time is the most valuable piece of evidence. It tells us when people moved, when they spoke, and when they took action. But in the story of Ashlee Robinson, time seems to have disappeared. As we look at the events of April 8th and April 9th, 2026, we find a massive gap that no one can explain. A period of 11 hours where the world went dark and the truth was left in the shadows. To understand this gap, we have to look at the timeline provided by the hotel and the family. According to the Zuri Zanzibar staff, Ashlee was found unresponsive in her room on the night of April 8th. She was rushed to a local medical facility, where doctors fought to save her. But while Ashlee was fighting for her life in a hospital halfway around the world, her parents, Harry and Yolanda, were sleeping peacefully at home, completely unaware that anything was wrong. It wasn't until April 9th, 11 hours after the incident, that Joe McCann finally picked up the phone to call them. Think about that length of time, 11 hours. That is longer than a flight from New York to London. During those 11 hours, Joe did not call Ashlee's parents. He did not call her closest friends. When he finally did call, the message was confusing. Yolanda remembers that Joe told her something had happened 11 hours ago, but he claimed that Ashlee was stable. He didn't say she was in critical condition. He didn't say her life was in danger. He gave the family a sense of hope that wasn't real. But the silence didn't end there. After that one confusing phone call, Joe reportedly stopped communicating. The next time the Robinson family heard anything about their daughter, it didn't come from the man she was supposed to marry. It came from the hotel management. They were the ones who had to deliver the news that Ashlee was gone. This notification gap is one of the most painful parts of the story for the family. They ask, if this was a tragic accident, why wait 11 hours to call the people who loved her most? Why tell them she was stable when she was actually dying? In a documentary about truth and transparency, this silence speaks louder than words. The family is now fighting to fill in those 11 hours. They are demanding the surveillance footage from every corner of the resort. They want to see the cameras from the hallways, the lobby, and the entrance to the villas. They want to see exactly what Joe McCann was doing during those 11 hours. Was he at the hospital? Was he in his own villa? Or was he somewhere else? As of April 19th, 2026, those tapes have not been released to the public. The Robinson family believes the video will match the timeline and show the truth that the 11-hour silence is trying to hide. They aren't just looking for a cause of death. They are looking for the missing time. Because in a case like this, the hours spent in silence are often the hours where the most important secrets are kept. As the investigation enters late April 2026, the story of Ashlee Robinson is no longer just a private family tragedy. It has become a global movement. People from all over the world are looking at the island of Zanzibar and demanding the truth. The pressure is coming from the streets, from the internet, and even from some of the biggest stars in the world. The turning point for the public conversation happened on April 13th, 2026. That was the day the world-famous rapper Cardi B spoke out. She posted a message on social media that sent shockwaves through the investigation. She wrote in plain terms that she did not believe the official story coming from the local police. Cardi B told her millions of followers that a woman like Ashlee, who was celebrating her 31st birthday and a new engagement, would not choose to end her life. This one post changed everything. It brought millions of new eyes to the case. People began to point out the same things Ashlee's family had been saying. Ashlee was a vibrant, happy, and successful woman. She was in high spirits. She was starting a new chapter of her life. The public skepticism grew even louder when news spread that the medical report from the first hospital showed an unidentified mark on her neck, a mark that didn't match the hotel's story. While the internet was buzzing, Ashlee's father, Harry Robinson, was taking action at the highest levels. On April 14, 2026, he traveled to Washington, D.C. He didn't go there for a vacation, he went there to fight. Harry met with the U.S. State Department to press for their assistance. He told the officials that his family was not getting the transparency they deserved from the authorities in Zanzibar. Harry's message was clear. We just want answers. He is pushing for two major things. First, he wants the FBI to get involved in the investigation. Second, he is demanding access to the surveillance footage from the Zuri Zanzibar resort. He believes the cameras at such a high-end hotel will reveal the real timeline of events. He wants to see who was coming and going from room 25 during those critical hours. The Robinson family has also seen a massive wave of support through a GoFundMe campaign. As of April 16, 2026, people have donated over $53,000 to help bring Ashlee home and pay for an independent investigation. This money is being used to fly her body back to the United States for a second independent autopsy. The family believes that a U.S. medical examiner will find the evidence that was missed or ignored overseas. As we stand here today, on April 19, 2026, the world is watching and waiting. The hashtag Justice for Ashlee movement is growing every day. From the voices of celebrities like Cardi B to the quiet, determined steps of a father in Washington, the message is the same. Ashlee Robinson was a woman who was loved, a woman who was successful, and a woman who will not be forgotten. The search for the truth is just beginning, and the world will not stop until the full story of what happened in Zanzibar is told. As we wait for more answers in the Ashlee Jenae case, being part of this community ensures you're the first to know when new evidence or updates surface. Subscribe now to stay in the loop and help us keep the conversation going. Every voice matters in the pursuit of the truth.